Anyways, so we bought this facility. What happened is we talked to the owner. His name was well, the name of the facility was called Big John's, but the owner's name was Butch. Okay. And Butch was 88 years old and he had built the facility in 1980. And from 1980 to 2000, he said that facility was just rocking and rolling, pristine. He was making money. And then in 2000s, like early 2000s, he was just like, I'm over it. I'm done, which is about what I see in this industry, honestly. Like after the 20-year mark of owning a facility, a lot of owners are just like, yeah, I'm not into it anymore, right? So find facilities that are 20, 30, and 40 years old. Now you don't want to get into like older than the 1980s. I've seen facilities that are that are built in the 1970s and the 1960s and the 1950s. Have y'all seen these facilities? They're just like old looking. They're old looking. Okay. So you don't want to do that. But you know what? In Texas, they're still using those facilities in the 1960s. People are still like, they have like the metal doors that close and then they just, close it with a little lock or something. Right. People are still using those things. It's so funny. I saw some of those, like even in Minnesota, because we just came back from Minnesota and we saw some there as well too. And they're using them as facilities. So I wouldn't discredit them, but like, they're just kind of older. You could probably just build a facility, and be better at it. But anyway, So we talked to John, or Butch John, whatever you want to call him, and we put an offer, and he wanted $500,000 for the facility. Which actually, if the facility was full and it was making income, it's actually, as of right now, this facility that we bought it for $250,000. He wanted $500,000 for it. I offered 200 and he said 250, and I said fine. But anyways, we bought it for $250,000. It is now worth almost $1 million. Okay. And the reason why is because when we bought the facility, he told us he was making $2,300 a month. And actually when we bought it, he really wasn't even making that much money. But what happened was we rearranged all the parking, right? And we got it all orderly. So there's all these lined up perfect lanes. They're called lanes in the storage investing world. So there's all these nice lanes. And we got all of the units cleaned out. They were all full of crap, that like nobody'd ever paid for in years or whatever, right? And he was a cash only business. He was cash only. That's it. So we had no records of anything. Like he did have a ledger, because I asked him, can I see your numbers? He's like, yeah. He opened up his desk and he pulled out his ledger. And I just, and I told him, like, look, I mean, I'm sorry, Butch, but like nobody gonna buy this thing for $500,000. All right. I was like, I'm actually the perfect buyer for you because number one, I have private money. I have a private money lender that will lend the money to me. And because there's no buyer that's going to be able to go to a bank and buy this property, because all the bank is going to say is, where is your P&L? Where's your balance sheet? Where's your tax returns? Where's your rent roll? Right? They're going to want to do all that. And then they're going to want to do an environmental. Who knows what's going on in that property, right? And I said, nobody going to buy this. Nobody going to buy this. So I'm going to offer you $200,000. And he was just like, no, I'm not taking that. And I said, okay, well, just think about it and just let me know, like, what you think. So he called back the next day and he said $250,000. I already knew it was going to be 250. In my mind, it was like 250, but I just offered 200, right? And I just explained to him, like, look, you have a mismanaged facility. These are the ones that I like to buy. So one of the ways for you to invest in self-storage is to buy mismanaged facilities. All right. Mismanaged facilities mean that you have to have private money for somebody to purchase it, or you have to have your own money or private money for you to be able to purchase this, because banks are not going to fund these properties. Okay, a bank wants to fund an income producing properties. Okay, income producing property means that, first of all, they're making money, right? It's cash flowing. Number two, they have a P&L, they have a balance sheet, they have their rent roll, they'll show their tax returns. Okay. And if they can show all that to you, if the owners can give that to you, then you can take it to the bank and then you can get a totally awesome loan. I mean, right now you have to put 20% down, right? So you have to have that money for 20% down, but you can get like less than 5% interest. I have a student right now that's buying a facility for $3 million. I know that sounds like a lot of money, right? But they're buying it for $3 million at 4.5% interest for 20 years. Okay, and they have to put 20% down. The very first building, the storage facility that they bought was $300,000, $300,000, and now they're buying a $3 million facility. My lenders are lending the 20%, and they're going to bring, essentially what they're going to do is they're going to bring $100,000 to the deal. My lenders are going to bring $700,000 to the deal. They're joining, and they're going to do an equity partnership together, and they're getting a loan for the rest from the bank. So essentially, my student is buying a $3 million property for $100,000. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And her very first deal that she ever bought was 100 units for 300 grand. That's already worth like $700,000-800,000. All right. And that's kind of how it works. You need to be able to get your foot in the door. You get your foot in the door, right? And then you gotta move on up, right?